I did some research. There was a time in the past when Filipinos were colonized by the Americans and they used the N-word on them.
Hello guys, welcome back to Elf. Planet. Pangalan ko is Paul. And yeah, I was born and raised here in the Philippines. And you can follow my Instagram.
Hello everybody! My name is Rebecca Nelyaka, but people call me Becky Bex or Becca. I am from a country called Kenya, which is in Africa. I've lived here in the Philippines for the past 9 years. This is actually my 10th year here in the Philippines. So far, I have lived in Antipolo, Cainta, and Taytay Rizal. Please head over to my channel and subscribe.
Hi, Else Planet fans. Welcome. My name is Ruth, a Nigerian BSN graduate from the Philippines. I've lived in the Philippines for 6 years and still counting. You can find me on social media platforms, and of course, I have YouTube channel Nurse Ruth. Look.
Hello, this is DeAndre at DeAndre Wilcox on Instagram, and today I'll be your guest from the US.
Hi, my name is Madeline Mousy. I'm originally from Ghana, but I live here in the UK. I'm a student and I make TikTok and YouTube videos at my handle at Madeline Mousy.
Hey guys, what's up? It's Alan. Welcome to our planet. And today we actually have a pretty big topic on our hands, but I do think that it's something that we have to talk about. In our last video, Paul mentioned this.
Siyempre, kung gusto mong respect mo ako para respecting it. We're gonna educate them about not saying this word, especially the N-word.
It's something that we do have to talk about as Filipinos because I personally have seen Filipinos using the N-word on social media. It's something that we shouldn't just throw around every day. Without further ado, let's get on to the video. What is the N-word?
So, hindi naman tayo magpaligo-ligo pa. The word N-word po is nigger or nigga. It is a racial slur towards black people po. Kumbaga, isa po siyang insulto. The reason why it is bad because it is the idea that African people aren't really human beings. It could be bought or sold. And that's so F-up po taga-face. Much binibenta yung mga tao para lang paslangin, gawing slave. Tas kinakawawa lang.
The N-word is a bad word that is used to describe black people. The N-word is considered bad not because of the meaning, because honestly, the N-word just means black. But the thing is, the way it's used is what makes it bad.
The N-word simply means nigger, but for the blacks, the N-word stands for a racist word. The N-word is considered bad because of how that word was commonly used on the blacks in the slavery era. During that time, the blacks were treated like less humans, they were dehumanized, they were treated more like animals, and then the N-word was just a word that was commonly used on blacks. Because of the memory, that's why black people see that word as a bad word.
The N-word is a term or a name given to black people during the times of slavery, and it was basically used to take away human qualities of black people. Like if you call someone by a name that isn't their name and generalize them all to one thing, it makes them inhuman. And that's basically what the purpose of the word was originally. And it's not just a word, it's also everything that comes with the word, the history behind it, everything like that. It's just a word that is bad. Everything about it has negative connotation.
The N-word is a derogatory term or a derogatory slur that is used against anyone that is in the black diaspora. And the reason why it's considered bad is because when the N-word first came around, it was to other black people. And the reason why it's still bad to use the N-word to this day is because it perpetuates the idea that black people are others in society and that they are to be othered.
Can Filipinos say the N-word? Who can use the N-word?
I would say no. Socially acceptable, I think black people can use the N-word. Anyone who is black, anyone who is not, should not.
Honestly, I would say no, just because the word itself is offensive towards black people. I understand that a lot of Filipinos say, well, we're not white though, we should get a pass. I get that, I really do, because honestly, I feel like if a Filipino says the N-word compared to a white person saying the N-word, I will feel less offended if a Filipino person said it. But still, I don't think it gives them a right to say the N-word. However, I did some research. There was a time in the past when Filipinos were colonized by the Americans and they used the N-word on them. Still, I would recommend that Filipinos not use the word at all because it really is a derogatory term, especially towards black people. Honestly, I feel like no one should use the N-word, but black people should be the only ones who have a pass to use the N-word just because it was directed towards us.
No po, di po pwede sabihin ng Filipino, pero gets ko na po yung sinasabi ng mga kapwa Pilipino natin about sa salitang negro or meaning is kulay itim. Sabi ko po kanina, isa pong insulto ang pagsabi ng N-word sa black tao. Kasi hindi mo naman alam kung ano pinagdaan na sa tao, lalo na po mga black people way back from years before po. Ito ko po, meron po ako na-meet na black na matanda. Sinabi mo siya ng niga pero nagalit po siya. So hindi po din po ako pwede ko sabihin sa mga kapwa kong black kasi sila din po ay nagkagalit po. So usually hindi naman sinasabi talaga yung N-word. So parang daral lang po. Black people can say the N-word. Black people say the N-word because it's their word. It's the word they have been called for centuries, and instead of choosing not to say it, they instead embrace it and take it back by making it a term of endearment po.
There's a lot of nuance along this line as to who can and cannot say the N-word, but I feel like an opinion I always have is the people to decide who can and cannot use the N-word are the people who are most affected by it, and that is people within the black diaspora. So I would always say that if you are not a black person, you shouldn't be saying the N-word. And sometimes there's a lot of confusion with this, considering the influence black culture has within our society now and for years and years and years, especially when it comes to music, because what people don't realize is that there's the reclamation of the N-word to mean like a term towards an endearing friend or someone that you are close to. And like I said, in my opinion, I don't think anyone outside of the black diaspora should be saying the N-word. But in my opinion, I think if something that is harmful towards a community is being discussed about, the most important opinion is the opinion of the community that it affects the most.
I would say that nobody, whether Filipino or blacks, nobody can use the N-word. Since we are trying to create awareness, like Else Planet is using his platform to create the awareness, I would suggest that nobody, whether Filipinos or blacks, should use the N-word to make people know that the N-word is a word that black people find so offensive. Hence, nobody should use it. But if there are people that must use that N-word, it should be the blacks, because that word was made for them. It was used on them, like it stands for them. So they should basically be the ones to use the N-word.
Have you heard the N-word being said by Filipinos?
Yes, I've heard the N-word being used by Filipino.
Yes, I heard a lot. I heard from a lot of Filipinos po, like sinasabi nila because it's cool for them that they have black friends, like they have the best, or they have a brother or sister, like they have the best for saying it. Pero to be honest po, hindi porket kung may ganun kang kaibigan o mga kapatid, ay pwede mong sabihin sa ibang black people. Pero hindi po kasi hindi lahat ng black people mabait. Some of us are sobrang patience na talaga hindi inaharap yung away. Pero napag-meet na po ako na ibang black friends na once they heard the N-word towards the non-black people, masasabi po parang hindi po maganda po yung kalalabasan. Kasi po parang, nga po, napaka-isang insulto po talaga. Kasi lalo na kung di mo alam pinagdaanan ng mga black people way back to slavery. Patay dito, sasaktan dito na rin po. Patay mo po. Kung meron po yung oras, mag-search po about the N-word. Just search about it. At makakalam kayo ng mga ibang idea about it.
Yes, I have. I have heard Filipinos say the N-word all the time. Sometimes I'm just walking down the street and then a Filipino person will be like, hey, look at that nigga over there. Hey, what's up, my nigga? They always say that. And I'm like, and there's this one time, actually, me, my mom, and my African friend, we were looking for a UV Express. You know those guys that use walkie-talkies, right? He was speaking in Tagalog, and I think he thought that I couldn't understand. And so he was like, oh, hoy, di ba na tatlong mga niggas? And I was like, I don't think they know that the N-word has like a bad meaning towards it. I feel like most of them are ignorant. That's why they say it.
As a black person, what would you like to say to the Filipinos regarding the usage of the N-word?
As a black person living in the United States, I don't see the need for the usage of the word. It's okay to not say a word if it hurts other people.
Once you watch this video or hear something, educate yourself, and then you can be an educator to other people. And it just makes sure that we are all using language correctly, because language and communication are so important. It is how we do a lot of things in our day-to-day life. So making sure that your language is something to be respected or like something to even be proud of is really important. Also, it aids yourself in allyship towards the black community if you educate yourself on these things.
Sa mga tao po na ulit-ulit po sinasabi ang word na yun, huwag na po natin sabihin sa mga black people, or kumbaga huwag na po natin sabihin. Huwag po sabihin sa po insulto ang paggamit ng N-word. Wala naman po nakakatuwa doon. Let's just have some peace with each other, and kung may time ka, research po tayo about it para pero yung idea about it. Hindi ko yung tipong bigay tayo ng bigay ng mga salita na hindi natin alam lalo na yung may ibang tao. Peace and love.
Tell the Filipino people you should abstain from using the word just for the sake of not offending other people. Although some Filipinos, especially the native Filipinos who have dark skin like me and who were called Negro or Niga by the Americans when they were colonized, I feel like those people do have a pass. However, I would say to the general Filipino population that they should try and avoid the word as much as they possibly can.
As a black person who is living in the Philippines, please desist from using the N-word on the blacks. I know some persons will be like, but the N-word simply means black. It is not just all about the meaning. It is what that thing signifies or what it means to the black. It's more than just the meaning. It's the memory it brings back. It's what it stands to mean to the black, if that makes sense, you know, that really matters. Each time the N-word is used on a black, it's just like you are trying to make the black know that he or she was once treated as a slave. So please, if you are a Filipino watching, just try as much as possible to desist from using that N-word on any black.